Okie show.
Oh, check.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Check.
I can hear you pretty good. Might lean a little more into the mic.
Lean. Okay, hold on. Wait. Do you hear that? Never mind. Sorry. It's I don't know.
Yeah, it's like let's make sure the background sound is
lean in.
Toned down.
Okay. All right.
Oh, check. All right. Hello and welcome to the podcast that explores the heartland's entertainment industries. I'm Brian.
I'm Kelly.
And Nick is dead.
We killed him. It's always going to be that. We're always going to kill the missing co-host.
Oh my God, you killed Nick.
Yeah.
You bastard. So today we are talking about sound.
Wait, hold on,
Wait, can you hear that?
Did you hear that?
Wait, can you hear that?
I can hear that.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, well tell them to be quiet.
Okay. All quiet, please. Okay. So, today
we're talking about sound.
We're talking mics. We're talking sound department. It's been a long time coming because I don't know if y'all have heard. Ha!
Did you guys know this? This is a fun Okie show fact. Give it to us, Brian.
I'm a sound guy.
What?
I know. It's crazy.
No.
I am a professional eavesdropper.
That's so true.
And not a very subtle one either.
No, not at all. You're always awkwardly standing there listening.
I know. With
always.
Working the pole and
your
just...
Arms just up and outstretched.
Arms just jacked from all the eavesdropping.
And your bad back from all of the carrying of the mixer and the...
And now I make that dad noise anytime I bend over. I'm like, ugh.
And you're always doing this. Oh, hey, I'm Brian. And then turning quickly to see what the heck made that sound, because you're always hearing some sound.
So this is actually kind of a funny story. For a while, I was afraid I was having like tinnitus issues because we would go to church and I couldn't be in there during the music while the music was playing because I would start getting this in my ear.
Ooh,
it was like a weird distortion. So I went to the ear doctor and, did the whole exam and everything.
Yep.
It's really awkward because you're just like sitting there.
Were you in a box? Were you in the giant box? Did you go into an actual sound booth box? I love that.
And it was funny because I sat in their box and then I critiqued their headphones.
You're like, these aren't that good of quality.
I was like, mine are better.
Yeah.
I passed the test with flying colors.
Oh, no, that means you're just crazy, Brian.
What the doctor's actual diagnosis was, because I explained to her what I do for a living, and her actual diagnosis was, your ears are so tuned. Your ears have you're able to hear things that no one else can hear. So I'm basically a superhero.
Oh gosh,
with the world's
you are.
most useless power.
That's amazing. See,
of being able to hear everything. But yes, today we are talking sound with one of my favorite mixers that I've ever worked with through the years, Mr. Kabe Cornell. My goodness, he's been doing this for, I want to say, 25 years. I think, about 25 years. And holy crap. I mean, he's worked in MTV. He's worked, he does everything from documentary to feature films to reality, pretty much you name it. And that's something that we all, as sound mixers in the Oklahoma Midwestern area, it's really just kind of a sound mixer thing. We do pretty much everything.
All of the stuff.
All the different styles of filmmaking we're on because there's a severe lack of sound people. And that's actually
good
part of the
opportunity
reason.
to hop on this game, man.
That's right. And so we're bringing to you information that you need in which to get started in the department of sound waves. Can you hear the information?
That?
Yeah. Can you...
Same thought.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
we're with...
Wait, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you
say it.
Can you hear that?
Can you hear that?
Did you hear that?
It's Kabe.
He's coming in. Let's get to our conversation with Mr. Kabe Cornell. Kabe, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks.
How's it going?
It's good. It's good. Just trying to survive,
Just hanging in there, living that dream.
Yeah, it's a dream, all right.
So you've been my mixer on several different projects. We did True Detective together. We did.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we did. Wow, my gosh, I've lost track. But introduce yourself to the audience of how long have you been doing this, and what's your quick overview background?
Well, I'm Kabe Cornell. I have Kabe Cornell Audio LLC. Sound mixer. I've done pretty much every kind of project I think you could think of, from news, narrative, sports, features, commercials, documentaries, and whatever else you can think of. Podcasts now, or is this a vlog? I don't know. I'm kind of older.
Yeah. It's going on the face space.
Yeah. I don't know. I looked at MySpace the other day just to see what was there, but
it's a ghost town over there.
As I say, just people look sad. Boo.
Digital cobwebs.
Got into the business. I was living in New Jersey and met some people, and they were in the business in New York City. And I got in a job at a rental house. We're delivering camera packages and checking in sound packages, and that was 1995.
Dang.
In New York City. So, yeah, I didn't really look for this industry. I just kind of stumbled across it and was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I was doing cool stuff like Court TV, big court cases down in New York City at the big courts, and all kinds of weird stuff like staking out Monica Lewinsky and things like that. And I'm like, I was like 19 or 18 or 19 when that all started. So
wow. Have you ever met Judge Judy? I have to ask for my dad. That's like his favorite person in the whole world.
No, I never met her.
Okay, but
no.
Court cases, I have to imagine, pretty fun.
Yeah,
TV cases.
If I recall, like, Dan Abrams is like he's a big time anchor guy now. Well, he was on Court TV, like just a regular, like starting out reporter, and
what? I did not know that.
Yeah, so that was a long time ago.
Golly,
I saw a lot of. I kind of learned a lot of cool stuff when I was young, and I was running around New York City and talking to all kinds of people, and we did a lot of MTV. So so we did a lot of MTV, a lot of the rap stuff. Got to go to some different rappers' houses and stuff. So yeah.
And when did you settle into the sound department?
Well, that was kind of the focus from the beginning when I first met those people in New Jersey. I asked him, I said, what is this that you do? And he worked for NBC News in New York City, and he took a buyout and started a company and partnered up with a camera rental house. And so he was kind of the sound side of it.
Oh, cool.
Because that's what he did at NBC. And so the focus was, you work at this rental house, you'll learn some of this stuff, you'll check in these audio packages, and then down the road, whenever you're ready, you can go out and start doing jobs. And like my first job was I think a Court TV interview or something.
Yeah. I love how
scared to death.
You never choose the sound life. The sound life chooses you.
Yeah.
It just finds you and says, you're mine now. I love you.
That's the funny thing. Like, I don't know any production sound mixers that started off being like, I want to be a sound mixer.
Well, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
We always fall into it because like I fell into it completely serendipitously too.
Being a musician also now, which this is funny because a lot of people ask me, did I get into doing sound for TV because I was a musician? Well, I didn't become a musician until I didn't start playing until I was like 23 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, yeah, for me it was that was my connection, was that whenever I started working at a studio, they were like, "Oh, you know music, so clearly you know how to do sound." And I was like, "No, I don't." They're like, "Clearly you know how to do sound."
Yep.
Like, all right, okay.
I know. I get excuse me. I get asked that all the time. But it's two unrelated things. But the music is actually kind of what brought me back to Oklahoma from there. So,
Really?
yeah.
I was gonna say that's quite the jump going from New York to
New Jersey,
Oklahoma.
New York.
Well, I'm from Tulsa,
Oh,
and I moved up there to New Jersey when I was, after right before middle school, I guess.
Nice. So we're gonna talk about we're just gonna do an overview of the sound department because it's just such a deep rabbit hole, everybody. Once you think you know everything and you have everything that you need, there's brand new things that you did not know. So we're just gonna kind of skim across the very surface.
Sure.
So
maybe I need to every now and then call you guys out and be like, too nerdy, step back, explain it to me, explain it like you're talking to the dum-dums. No.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Kelly's going to be our resident layperson that is going to keep us grounded with jargon and stuff.
I'm just going to shout out over my head, and then you guys will bring it back down.
Yeah. So first
I have to figure out how to tell my kids things that it takes me a while to figure out how to explain it to a kid. So I'll just do that with you.
Explain that to me. Yes. Yes.
When a sound guy loves an actor very much, he puts a wire on her. Okay, so real quick, just kind of
or him.
It's 2020. This will be coming out in 2021, so we're living in the future. Right. Describe the sound department for somebody who has no reference whatsoever.
Okay. Do you? So there's feature sound, because I know you're kind of a feature guy. Like a narrative feature kind of guy.
That's
true.
There's
other kinds of sound, because I do sports stuff now. I've been doing some sports things and some live broadcast type stuff. So
God, that's so true. Okay.
So there's different aspects in there.
Start with film. Let's start with features.
Feature film.
That's what I relate most to, and then we'll go down down, but tangent from there.
So the first thing you want to do is, if you can, get on a location scout so you can go and tell them all the places that are bad for sound, and they can say, "We don't care. We're going to do it here anyway." So that's the first.
Say it.
That's the first rule.
Yeah. Why am I here?
Which taps into that list of questions you gave me of pet peeves.
Oh yeah.
Is that a big one?
Yeah. So no, you have however many characters. You got to figure out. Equipment-wise, you got to know how many characters you have and how many characters are going to be in each scene, and you got to make sure you have the right equipment to cover that, and then you're also responsible for the time code and things like that. The slate you see all the time, that's our department. We bring that.
And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see Kabe's setup here. He's got his time code slate, he's got his full recording rig and his cart. Freaking sweet.
And
man.
Multiple booms.
I got a couple of mics hanging out just for...
Yeah.
And so, this mic might be used for one thing, and this mic right here is used for a different thing.
Yeah.
Then you have all the lavs, the wireless mics, and so you get a lot of things to keep track of and make sure the stuff's working right. And then that's not even talking about putting mics on actors where they don't make sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to figure out where to tape them and where to hide them. Is that a huge mind game?
It can be, and sometimes until you actually step up on the actor, step to the actor, I've thought about it days in advance, I don't know, and then you get there and you just do it because it's just what you do. But it can be intimidating,
well, especially if it's a famous person.
Yeah.
Because there's some people of particular calibers who just don't want you touching them at all.
That's true. Do
you have to enter the room head down and just holding the mic out like a sacrifice?
Don't look at me.
Brian knows how much I am into actors. I can't tell you.
That's awesome.
I can't tell you how many times he's mentioned an actor's name, and I said I don't know who that is.
Either that, or you recognize the name, and it's just a response of disdain.
Yeah, I was.
God, that guy.
Oh yeah. Well.
Oh man. So let's kind of go down the list of equipment, because we're talking to beginners here. So recording interface is the first thing. What do you suggest with recording interfaces and all that?
Recording you mean like my field recorder?
Yeah.
I use Sound Devices brand. pretty rock solid. I'm using this sound device, a 688. It's a 6-channel, 6-fader, 12-channel. I think you can record up to 18 channels with routing different things together in different places and yada, yada, yada. But I generally don't use more than these 6 knobs right here. But it records to an SD card and it records to a compact flash card. And it runs the time code. It's the clock. It's the clock system, which runs the slate, etc.
That's right. And whenever people see those rolling numbers on the slate, they think it's some mystical thing, that it means something important. What is the time code?
It's the time of day, essentially.
It's just a clock.
That's all it is. Really, that's all it is.
That's
it's
all
just
it
the
is.
time of day.
It is. It's just a matter. There's different rates that it runs at, which you really can't see with. You can't tell with your eye. It's all about in the in the computer of recording and camera and sound.
Yeah. So people watching this can see that it's 7:23.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine.
Give or
These
take.
aren't synced up right now for whatever reason, but anyway, they're close. They're
Yeah.
about a minute off.
So you got your mixer, and then you've got your boom, which people are probably going to be starting off with just a boom. So let's talk about the boom real quick.
The boom's great. In features, originally, and even way back, I guess even way back in studio, the original studio days, they have mics on a boom, whether it be like a crane operate boom kind of thing. There weren't a lot of hidden mics. Like you can put the other track in here, and there's a lob in here, but it was always boom or overhead mics, and that's what they used. And you never get any rustling noise, and they're definitely key to production. And a lot of times, if I can just use a boom on something, I'll just listen to that, even though I have somebody wired.
Yeah,
because it sounds so clean. This is a boom.
And that's
one of my favorite ones.
Clean,
That's a Sennheiser MKH50.
It's the Sennheiser MKH50.
God, that's such a sexy mic. That's what I've
Yeah,
got.
it's really nice. I
gonna
really
bring-
want to get another one. I would like to get a second one to have a pair for like doing a 2 people in an interview or something.
You
So
can't have your
can
mics being lonely. Gosh.
I know.
Yeah,
That'd be terrible.
that too. Maybe they'll have little baby mics and I could sell them.
Yeah.
They pop out these little guys after little booms, and then these guys pop out. Boop.
Yeah, for beginning mics, the MKH50 is really good for indoor stuff. And then there's a standard mic that we use that I'm pretty sure is the same. I'm pretty sure we have the same outdoor shotgun mic, which is what?
I have the Sanken CS3.
Nope, I do not have that one. Yours
You
is
have the
far better
416?
than mine. I have the 416.
Ooh.
The 416 is great too. I was gonna say, but you were talking about beginning mics. Like a 416 is a news. That's what I started out with, and like some of the mics that I was using when I started been around for 20 years. They're still really good mics, and they're workhorses, and they're robust, and durable. I'd actually like to have one, but I don't really need one, so I'm not going to buy one. But that I used a Sennheiser ME66, which is a 2-piece microphone, and you can change the capsule, and it didn't have as great a pattern of pickup or didn't sound as good as this, but I used it for a long time before I bought a better mic.
Yeah.
And it was only, I think altogether, I don't know, maybe $1,000, maybe less. I can't remember.
Which that's folks, for the listeners, like when it comes to sound equipment and stuff, there really is, you really are getting what you pay for.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to buy an Asden. Don't buy an Asden.
yeah. Just across the board, avoid
This
Asden.
podcast is sponsored by Asden. No.
Yeah. Oh,
We just
no.
lost a
Don't
sponsor.
buy them.
Luckily, this show is edited.
And we're gonna talk kind of like basic boom mopping advice in just a second, but real quick, let's touch on the lavs. So
Okay.
we've talked about our mixer, we've talked about our boom mic, and now we have the lavs, which are a rabbit hole all themselves. So what do you got there?
I mostly use the Sanken COS 11D. It's a small head mic. Let me see. This one's got us.
So much
What does
more
LAV
organized
stand
than I
for? Just out of curiosity.
Okay, that's a good question. Lav, short for lavalier, which I looked up.
Lavalier.
Which I mean, apparently lavalier is a necklace of some sort. It's like
Huh.
a French name for necklace or something.
Oh,
Hence, because when they first started using, they would hang lavalier
them.
mics. They would just hang them on a thing. You'd see if you watch like the '60s or I don't know what year. I'm not good at that, but they would have a mic hanging on a rope, essentially around their neck as a pendant, like a necklace, lavalier.
It's almost like that's what they use on Naked and Afraid. Is those
Or like Love Island, which is our guilty pleasure. Love Island. They're always wet. They're always in the pool, and they've always got their mics hanging down.
Yeah, most of the time those shows they are using a lav, but this is where the boom, when they're in the water, they're probably booming that.
Yeah.
This is a lavalier mic. Can you see it?
Oh, that's so tiny.
That's how small my Cost 11D is.
Wow. Do you weave that through people's hair, or normally just up the shirt?
Normally it goes under the clothing, but you can put that in somebody's hair.
The only reason I asked that is because when doing stage shows, that's always like on theater.
Sure.
Theater, like you're on stage, you need to move around.
Yeah.
So they'll like pin it there, but that looks different than those kinds. Yeah.
It actually works really well to do that, but obviously it takes more preparation.
Yeah.
If I've got to mic somebody, they're going to come in, sit down, then I've got to stick the thing in there. But I did a shoot the other day. Is a COVID shoot, and the people are wearing masks, and this one person had the shield on too.
Oh God, yeah. I've been able to
so
avoid that so far.
I had a lav. Well, no, I didn't have the lav here. I had the boom over here, which didn't sound that great. So what I did was, between the foam of the face shield and the forehead, the mic got stuck right here.
Nice.
Crystal clear. Whoop.
Get the sound coming straight up from the mask right there.
I realized I had this funny hat on too. I look silly. Oh my gosh.
Dude, well, and that's honestly, I love wiring actors, and that's the funny thing. Like we say in the industry, we say wiring. We don't even say laving.
Yeah.
It is a lav in which we wire you with. But I love the MacGyver aspect of like figuring out how to wire because everyone's a little snowflake. Everybody's just wearing different stuff, and they have different body types and whatnot. My running
Sweat
joke
zones.
is that sound guys appreciate well-endowed ladies for a completely different reason than every other person on the planet. It's because there's lots of room to hide things in there.
I've definitely approached actors and said, I need to put this mic on you, and really the best place to do it is in this area in the airspace.
Yeah,
the airspace.
That's a very good way to put it.
In the boobs. It's in the boobs.
Dude,
it's in the crack of the boobs.
And you gotta there's like this you have to read people, because like some people are really like standoffish, and other people are just like, get in there, man. And like it's you can't you gotta like
that's funny you bring that up.
You gotta walk a tightrope.
That reminds me of when I crossed over I don't want to say crossed the line. It reminds me of when I guess I don't know how to put it in words. I was doing a shoot in New York City. I was still very young, and I was still pretty green, and it was at Swatch store on 57th Street. And it was a big grand opening, and Tyra Banks was there, and we had to mic her, and she had on this tight thing, and I went up I was like,
you mic'd Tyra's boobs?
And I was like, I don't know, I was shaking. I was like, I got to put this mic on you. And I was so green. She's like, oh, just get in there. Just go right through here.
Get in there.
Get in there and do it. And I did, and I was like, from then on, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, after you've touched, I don't know how much her boobs are worth in like just life, but like that millions of dollars Tyra Banks is worth, her boobs alone. So there you go. Now you know. So now you're a champ. That's a winner.
Yeah.
You've already done it. You've done it all.
I've won.
Well, and like sound guys, you do have to walk that tightrope. You do have to be able to read people. And like, what kind of advice would you give to a young person who has never wired anybody of the opposite gender?
Yeah.
And now they're faced with this challenge.
Yeah. I mean, it's still challenging for me. I've been doing this for almost let's say 25 years. It's still a challenge. You have to be respectful, and you have to be able to explain what you want to do. You can't just, and sometimes I forget and I just walk up to people because I'm used to miking people all the time. I just walk up and start working on somebody, and they're kind of like, "What are you doing?" Mostly if they're not an actor or used to it, doing that sort of work. You can explain on your own body, like, I need to place the mic right here on the inside of your shirt, and I'm probably going to need to run the wire up over your shoulder. I just kind of physically describe what I'm doing and demonstrate, and with a little bit of distance, so you're not right up on them. And that way they know exactly what it is that you're trying to do. Yeah. And that's the best thing to do, is just give them space, respect, and just be descriptive on what you need to do. So you're not just walking up and shoving your hand up their shirt.
Nice to meet you, yoink.
Yeah, I mean, I've walked up to people and they don't know who I am. They don't know I'm the sound guy, and I just start putting a mic on them, and they're what? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm the sound guy today, and because I do it, every day or whatnot. So
yeah, and it's really easy to forget that not everybody's used to that, and I think it's really important, especially for people who are wanting to get into this, like understanding consent and tell them what you're going to do and then just do it. Like, I feel like the more awkward that you are, the more awkward they are. Yeah, so if you're like dancing around it, like, just get in there, man.
Right.
I would be so bad at it. I'm not going to lie. I'd be really bad at miking people. I'd make them feel super uncomfortable. I do that at the gym just by complimenting people's shirts that they're wearing. Like, I just can't help but be like, "Hey, dude, you looking good?" Like, what? And I'm like, "Hey, never mind."
Yeah.
That's how it would be. I'd be like, nah, just kidding.
I'm telling you, it's still awkward sometimes. I've been doing this football show, and it's an ESPN show, and I'm doing all the OSU football games this season.
That's amazing. You're doing that? We've been watching some of
the hour time
to it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing all the sideline stuff and some of the locker room. I've been only working on game days, so all the stuff you pick up from the sidelines of Coach Gundy and the quarterback coach, and all the little things you pick up. That's me with my bag on with the boom.
And nice. Just getting people. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
But what I was gonna say about that was, Coach Gundy, I don't put the mic on him. I got to get it all ready and hand it to him, and he takes it, and then he goes back himself? It's super stressful because I can't ever go and work on it.
And he doesn't really know what he's doing.
And they don't really care about what you need. They got a football game to win, which I get. But it's super nerve-wracking, and I get awkward because I'm like trying to hand it to him while he's like running into the locker room, and I'm just like still kind of like.
That's got to be an interesting experience, or like miking all those athletes while they're playing and they're really angry.
Yeah,
like just being on them and they're just mad.
Oh yeah, I got the boom. I mean, right here, just like it is right here. Good plays and bad plays, and I'm just like, nah, that's what I got to do. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, there's also like when you're dealing with narrative stuff and you're dealing with like actors, you're also
totally different ballgame.
It's a totally different ballgame in that, like, if it's a dramatic scene or something like that, now you're also having to work around the performance aspect.
Yeah.
And like kind of talk about that, of like somebody is in a moment. How do you work around that?
Sometimes that's when you just boom it. If you have the space, if camera department will give you a frame. You know what I'm talking about, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they'll give you a frame and you can get in there with the boom, as well as I do that sometimes that's the best thing to do. But yeah, having to go and if somebody's in their trailer and they're getting in their mode, and then they just come to set and are trying to stay in that mode, and then you got to get a wire on them. You don't want to mess up their whatever is going on in an actor's head. Yeah.
I know that, and I feel very empathetic for actors that are trying to stay in a headspace, and they've already got makeup artists poking out their faces and all this kind of stuff, and like so that little bit of advice for the
That's
younglings.
That's a tough one, and sometimes for those people you can go to their trailer ahead of time and get them wired, and that way they can get in their zone, and you're one less person that's gonna bother them.
Yeah.
Can I ask just a more in-depth question about kind of scheduling? So you're basically in charge of just making sure everyone is mic the way that they need to be when they're starting their scene or whatever. So you've got like a mental list of people you need to have mic'd at certain times, or like do you fill out a chart, or like what's your process?
I think maybe some people are more in depth at it than I am.
It just sounds like
I just talk to the first AD as much as possible because they're the one running the show, and the first AD will talk to the second AD, and the second AD is I think, Brian, you correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of times they're in charge of getting actors back and forth from set.
Yeah,
and so you just got to be in communication with all those people, and then if they say, hey, so-and-so's here and ready, you just got to be ready to do it. But knowing who's in what scene and what scene's next and what that involves for you, you got to do it. You got to be prepared for all that stuff.
You're just constantly you're listening to the scene and everything going on around you. Hey there, film folks. If you're trying to get your project made, I got to tell you about my friends over at ngpfilm.com. If you are in the state of Oklahoma and you need equipment to get your project made, you need to go to NGP. They've got camera equipment, grip and electric equipment, sound equipment, production gear, stuff for your locations, pretty much everything. And if they don't have it, they're going to help you find it. Their customer service and support is out of this world. Literally, if you're in the middle of your day and you need extra gear, they will come to where you are and drop the stuff off. Or they have a super convenient night pickup and drop off. So you can call them, they'll leave it in these really cool little bins with a code that they give you, and then you show up and you put the code in, and then voila, you got the gear. And then when you're done with the gear, you come back, you leave it in the drop off, you put the lock back on, and then shazam, your day's over at 3 a.m. ngpfilm.com is pretty much the best thing Oklahoma Film has to offer. If you have any rentals, anything that you need, check them out, ngpfilm.com. Let's talk a little bit about that interacting with other departments and stuff, because I feel like sound department, we are relying heavily on lots of other departments. Can you kind of touch on that a little bit?
Definitely, you gotta be cool with the camera department, because if you can't work with the camera department, then you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
Period.
Constantly pushing you out of the scene.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, I mean that's lighting. You kind of just gotta work around lighting, but camera you gotta be working in conjunction with, because you need to be able to figure out what angle they're gonna shoot and what they're gonna see and where you can be in relation to the camera and what kind of frame it's gonna be. So if you can be buddy with the first AC or whoever's pulling focus, or somebody who's always got an eye on the frame, to where you can work with them so they can help you make sure that you're not in the shot or whatnot with your boom or your boom operator. First AD, AD department, of course. Grip and electric. The grips. A lot of times you need stuff, rubber matted, or we need to quiet a squeaky whatever. I don't know.
You got to shut the floor up or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Were you on which one was it? Monday?
Oh, Monday at 11:01 a.m.? Yes.
Did you work with me on that?
Yes, we did the whole run except for like the last day, and I was able to like hand it over to Dylan Shelby to boom for you, I think.
Oh, that's right. He had to do like the real intense, like kissing, weird.
Oh my god,
scene, and I was like, oh man,
that movie is a thing of legend.
Oh no!
For the audience, if you have not seen the movie Monday at 11:01 a.m., look it up on Amazon. It is Oklahoma's The Room. It is the dumbest movie, but almost in a fantastic way.
Nice.
The reason I thought of that movie is because, speaking about being good terms with all the departments, I don't know if you remember, Brian, they built that whole dolly track right on the wood floor behind the hotel counter, and it was making so much noise that I was like, we have to put rubber mats under that. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And they had to take the dolly off and take the track up and put the rubber mats down and the Fernie pads and put it all back together. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it's still noisy. But
yeah, I think
you have to be friends with them so that they won't hate you when you ask for something.
Yeah.
I feel like eventually we need to make like a Charlie Day-esque chart where it's like sound department, like drawing lines to all the like different, and then like you've got wardrobe over here, and like everyone's
wardrobe's
you got buddies, you got to be good with this group,
yeah,
wardrobe. So
wardrobe.
you need,
wardrobe. I mean, most of the time I don't know what the actors are going to wear, but you can certainly get with wardrobe ahead of time, and look at all the wardrobe, and if you can go in there and get a look at it and listen to it. I go in there and do this. I go, this one's really noisy. If you can avoid this one, please don't wear that one, Or if they know that it's going to be a super skin tight or a dress that's going to be difficult to get into, then you can get with them on that. And you both know that you need to wire that person before they are done with wardrobe.
Yeah.
Things
it's
like
funny.
That.
I feel like I am the tightest with like the wardrobe girls, and guys, like the wardrobe people. We actually hang out offset all the time. Like I'm really close with a lot of the wardrobe people because of the fact that I'm interacting with them and tearing up their clothes so much.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to cut through and things like that.
Yeah. Word of advice
help you with that.
For the audience: ask permission from the wardrobe people before you cut holes.
Ask first, always.
100%.
I did learn that. I know that rule.
Yeah. So, you got to just pay attention to the whole program. You got to, Brian's probably seen me do, working with me where he's talking to me or something, and I'm just not hearing him because I'm listening to something that's going on way over there, because what they're talking about is a piece of information that's going to determine what I need to do, and even though they're not going to come and tell me that. So
do you think that you have trained yourself to be good at compartmentalizing important things, because you're obviously taking in so much information all at once? I mean, it's like having kids, right? I'm just going to throw that out there.
Sure.
You have to focus in on the kid that needs that thing the most, and then just ignore the rest of them.
You have to just say, okay, this is a block of time, or let's call it, okay, this is this scene that we have to do, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe this location, because you're on a location, you might have to change setups a few times. But the more information you can get ahead of time, so you know what you're looking at, and then you can play all that stuff out in your head as it's happening, and then it's like playing chess, being a step ahead, knowing that once we finish this, we got to get all this stuff and go over there, and then change mics on 3 actors, and you have to know, you got to know all those steps ahead.
Yeah.
So that you
the
don't
last
get
thing you
caught
want
up
is for people to be waiting on the sound department, because people joke about holding for sound. I hate hearing that so much.
Oh yeah.
It's not funny anymore.
Sure. No, it's not. And I try to make it a point that I pulled my headphones out. I try to make it a point that I never hear that, because that
it's a naughty
it's
phrase,
usually
man.
not my fault.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Exactly.
Does sound always take the blame? Is that how this goes? You guys are the blame takers.
A lot of times, there's sound, whatever.
Yeah.
There's one of my favorite things is if we're doing a shoot and there's trucks or whatever, the dogs barking outside or whatever, and we have to stop, and they go, we got to stop. There's a sound problem. And a lot of times I can't keep myself from saying, it's actually a location problem.
It's the dog. It's the dog that's the problem. It's not my fault that the dog is barking.
There's been a number of times where that's come out, and I've thought, I don't know if I should have said that, but it's true. My mics sound good.
It's
not my fault.
So good that they can hear that truck.
We're sound department, not God.
2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I was on a shoot, and we're in Dallas, and we're shooting in this cool looking space, and whatever. I'm like, this cool looking space. Well, out the window, the single pane windows that go wrap around the whole place, out the single pane windows, right down there, 1 floor down, is where the garbage truck comes to pick up the compacted trash of where they run the trash compactor all day long down right underneath where we're shooting. So you tell me, is that a sound problem? Or is that a location problem?
Can you well, that's the funny thing, is like sometimes you'll actually have people that turn to you and they're like, can you do anything about that? Yeah. About the plane? What do you want me to do? Shoot it down?
Yeah. I know. Or can you hear that? And one of my other favorite lines is when, if a director turns to me and says, "Can you hear that?" And I'll say, "Can you hear that?"
Yeah.
and they usually go, "Yeah, okay." In their head, it's like, I mean, come on. What are you talking about?
Since we are talking about kind of bogeys in the background, what are some things that you can get away with? That's a thing that I get asked all the time.
That's tricky. And I don't know how you learn that because, I do know how you learn that. It's just with time, and there are still times where I'm going, I think it's okay. They can do wonders with post audio. They can do amazing things.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first started, I was again back in New York, and I was doing a theater show for PBS or something. And we would go into the theaters on Sunday mornings, and it would just be noisy, and there would be things going on. It's New York City, and I would be so scared because I was like, they're gonna, I can hear it, and they're like, you got to let it go. And so eventually, you just kind of like, I don't know, maybe there's an internal level to where like, there's the sirens coming up this far, we got to stop. It's a lot. It's judgment calls. It's just a judgment call, and it would help if you knew more about post audio. I've never done post, but they really can do amazing things with audio.
It really is amazing. Like, I actually sat in on a demonstration. A buddy of mine, we were working on this scene, and we land on the set, and they have built the set in this little warehouse area. And I walk in, you walk past the fake walls and everything, and now you're on the set. And the set is directly beneath a main vent that cannot be shut off. And I mean, this thing is freaking loud. Like, and I walk in, I'm like, you guys built this under this. Did this never cross your mind?
Well,
no, it didn't.
Yeah, it circles back around to when you're supposed to be. You go ahead of time and say, "Nah, I don't think so," and then they just say, "We don't care." Too bad.
But here's the thing, so I was buddies with the post people, so I went and visited the post people just to say hey, and I just wanted to. I like to check in on the post guys just to make sure everything's up to snuff. And he showed me the capabilities of what post audio can do now with what's the name of the software?
Audix RX or something like that. Audient, no.
Oh man.
Isotope
RX.
Isotope.
Ooh.
Isotope.
Yeah, spelled IZOTOPE, or
I think so.
Something like that. Isotope with a Z. Anyway, he was able to pull all of that out, all of that vent noise out, and it literally was squeaky clean. Yeah. And he showed me that, and I turned to him and I said, "You just made me the laziest sound guy on the planet," because that was just beyond me. So it is kind of astounding what you can do.
Yeah, and it's great for you to be there to see that so that you can use that information to help make judgment calls in the field because you often don't have any control.
Yeah.
Let me back up. You never have any control. That's not true. You get braver and you stop the production because you have to have something because,
Yeah.
Forgot where I was going.
Yeah, well, if you're starting off let's say early on, you're probably not going to have as much money for post sound stuff, right? That's not something that you're going to throw in money at right away. Yeah. So you still want to have good crisp sound in the beginning, but then later on as you get onto bigger projects, that's when you can make those judgment calls, right? Does that make sense? Is that what I'm getting at?
Well, what you're saying makes sense because there are a lot of productions that say, hey, and maybe it's a short turnaround. They don't have time to go through post and clean everything up. So some things you have, I would say most of the really indie feature stuff, they really need it to be as good as you can possibly get it.
Yeah,
because they're not going to have the money to spend to do that in post.
That's actually one of my favorite memories of you. While we were shooting Monday at 11:01 a.m., we were doing this ballroom scene. This is very far pre-COVID, so we had a massive group of people.
Yeah,
all in one.
I remember those days.
Back in those days, when we could just not be freaked out all the time.
Yeah.
But we're on these old creaky wooden floors, and there's major dialogue happening, and I think the first AD came to you and he was like, "Is that going to be a problem?" And you turned to him and you said, "Well, what's your ADR budget look like?" And he just paused.
I said that.
Like, okay, yeah. Like, of course it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I would probably remember that if I worked on more feature stuff. I'm not doing much feature stuff now, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, amazing. What you tell me, can you, I don't, yeah, I mean.
I feel like I'm.
Again, it's like going on a location scout and saying these floors, 100-year-old wood floors. Oh, what about going down the hallway? Do you remember the running down the hallway?
Oh, my God.
I mean, you kidding me? You're not
just that, but our Steadicam operator was wearing a fucking tracksuit. A freaking windbreaker.
Yeah, from LA. She's big time, too.
She thought she was the stuff,
I don't know. I don't want to talk smack too bad, but that was fucking bullshit.
It was the noisiest Steadicam operator. And not only was she wearing a windbreaker that was swoosh, 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 swoosh whenever she would move, the Steadicam itself was the creakiest.
But there's also 3 other people running down the hall with her. It's like, so that's there's 8 feet going on an old wooden floor. Like, can you hear it? I'm like, yeah, I can hear it.
Of course you hear it.
What are you talking about? You can hear it. You know these mics are sensitive. Maybe you don't, but I mean, come on, you're in production.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Everybody needs to be aware of everybody else's department. I always try to be aware of camera, and I try to be respectful of everybody, location, of set dressing. You don't ever want to touch any of the stuff that's on set. You don't sit in the chairs. You just wardrobe. You don't want to mess with their stuff. It just goes on and on and on. Everybody's got to pay attention, and that person doing Steadicam didn't care about anybody else. I mean, that was I think she even kept doing that after we even asked her to not wear those pants.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She didn't give a single crap because she had worked on Sharknado, people.
Well,
she was
come
big time.
On. The winner of the best movie picture of the decade.
Yeah.
Sharknado.
Yeah. Oh man.
I never watched it.
I never did either.
I think I got drunk one night and did, but I can't remember anything. There were sharks and a tornado, and eventually a combination of the two.
Yeah.
So, can I ask? Maybe this is a dumb question, but when you're dealing with weather and you're outside and you have microphones and you have boom, all these things, like what are you looking at to deal with sounds from the weather and actual moisture and physical responses to your equipment?
That's a good question.
Man, I just hate shooting in the rain.
So the answer is just don't do it. Don't work on any sets that are in the rain.
You cannot do it. That's your best option. It is literally my least favorite thing about what I do, and the scariest thing, like when I'm going to a shoot, if I'm outside, I'm like, I just hope that it's not going to be raining.
Yeah,
like you guys are the ones that make that kind of call of safety, right? As far as like, I don't know. Do you guys make that call for safety first or no?
I think the safety call usually is the lightning.
Yeah,
because of lightning.
Usually
I will say that there has been a couple times where I think all of us have a weather app on our phones that we can track lightning strikes and stuff, especially in our department, because we're walking around with a freaking lightning rod.
Right.
So there has been 1 or 2 shoots that I've been on where I have had a subtle conversation with the first AD, and then he's like, "All right, we need to cover. We need to buddy up.
Everybody get in the barn!" Yeah. No, the lightning, and then if there's a lightning strike, what is it? Within 30 miles, then you got to shut down for.
I've always heard it's within. That it's supposed to be within 5 miles.
5
but you can get away with 10.
Wow. Okay.
So 10 miles, and then until there are no strikes within 10 miles, you have to shut down. For 30 minutes. I don't know.
You have to wait 30 minutes after the last strike.
Yeah.
And then you can start back up again.
Can we talk about some safe and healthy, safety health hazards for you guys in your field of work? I'm sure that takes a toll.
Let's talk about back issues, Kabe.
Oh, goody.
I think we all have them.
I've gone from shoulder problems. I've always had lower back stuff. I had some really bad shoulder stuff going on. Everything was just locked up, super tight. I got went to a masseuse, got on a regimen of massages, which finally broke all that stuff free, and that was huge because it hurt. Just everything hurt because this thing is, I don't know, 15 pounds maybe, and I've got it on a harness, for 7 hours or whatever. Trashes your lower back, but I have some ankle stuff going. It's a lot of weight. There's a lot of extra weight. And I got plantar fasciitis going on, which is awesome. You should get some of that. No, it's really great. No, but it's physically demanding, especially if you're gonna do like a low budget indie feature where you're gonna be the boom guy too. Then you're gonna be, I don't know what, Brian, 13 hours in the bag and booming.
God,
it's terrible.
My last shoot, it was a 16-hour freaking day, and I was doing double duty, sound mixing and boom operating. And like by the end of the day, your back is just a freaking accordion. And so I will say for the listening audience, like if you are wanting to get into this world, take care of your back. Make sure that you've got good orthotics in your shoes, and don't be afraid to go get a massage or go to the chiropractor or anything like that. Because I mean, that's it. It's all connected, man.
It is all connected. It's all connected.
I started doing morning yoga. I found this YouTube channel called Yoga with Adrian. And so, like, man, I'll be doing stretches, and it'll, like, from the top of my head to the tip of my toes, like, everything will tingle.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Woo!
It's good. You got to do it. And if you're a dude, just... It's not manly. It's just it's gonna benefit you, and just do it and start from the beginning and take care of yourself.
That's right. Just light some candles, turn on some Burke Bacharach, and do some yoga.
I don't have any Burke Bacharach.
And then have a bath with bath salts and feel like the manliest man in the world.
Do it.
Real quick, I don't know if we touched on this, but can we real quick touch on basic boom operating things, like important things to remember about boom operating? Yeah. Like boom operating. Real basic tips for working a boom.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The most basic thing is keep the boom out of the shot. So knowing where the frame is crucial.
So like needing to know that right here, that's in the frame versus that much difference. Just a couple inches matters.
Yep.
And even more so when you're on those tight shots, right?
It's like tight shots are easier.
Okay.
If my framing is like this, then I can be this far away.
Okay.
If I'm back here, I have to be however far. You know what I'm saying? The further away you are, the more space you need. So, and a lot of times when you're shooting a scene, hopefully you'll do the wide master first, and you're not really going to get the boom in there where you need to. But then they go and they punch in and do the tighter stuff, and then you can get the boom in there closer.
Yeah.
But a lot of times with the 4K or 6K, I don't even know. Are they doing 6K now? 8K?
Dude, they're up to 8K now.
Yeah, well, we'll just punch in. Just shoot it wide, and we'll punch in. Well, you don't get to get your boom in there.
Yeah, I remember
you need the tight shots.
When we were working on, it was that stupid Christmas movie.
You mean the one that they list? It's listed as Christmas Trap on IMDb.
Yeah.
Christmas Trap.
It was originally,
but it was Southern Christmas.
Yeah, it was Southern Christmas, and then I remember, like, overhearing a conversation between the writer director and like some grips of like, this isn't the South, right? Because it's set in Oklahoma. This isn't the South. This is the Midwest.
This is the Midwest.
and they were like, oh. So then it changed to the Christmas Trap.
Weird.
I remember like there was a point where we were shooting this like emotional scene, and I literally had to like, I was the boom op on this one. Kabe was sound mixing. And I had to have the conversation with the director of like, you're wanting to shoot wide and tight, which is where they're shooting a big wide shot, and then they're also shooting close-up coverage on individual actors. And I had to explain to him just the basic physics of it's going to sound like a crazy wide shot, but you're in on people's close-ups during they're supposed to get all teary-eyed and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not going to make physical sense. So
Yeah.
you
And they
aspiring
wanna-
filmmakers
and
out
then-
there.
Then they'll say, well, can't you just use the lav? But the lav doesn't sound as good and natural as the boom does. Because the boom's like, the boom's like your ear standing next to the person. And the lav is like your ear under their shirt against their chest hair.
Going.
But when you're a sound person, you can hear the difference. You can tell if you watch a movie. If I watch a show or a movie, I can a lot of times, if it hasn't been sound processed a ton, I can say, oh, that's a lav. I can just tell by the way it sounds, or that's boom because it's super natural sounding.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Southern Christmas, I think on my second slate, this is my newer slate, the old slate, I think it still has the Southern Christmas stuff.
Does it really?
I think so.
Oh man, that's where
I'd get it down and show you, but it's up there.
We got to work with one of the guys from Rascal Flatts.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Joe.
What was his name?
Joe Don Rooney or something like that.
Yeah,
nice.
He was a nice guy.
Or was that his character name?
I think.
No, I think
that
that's
was
his real name.
Yeah,
That's his real name. Yeah, he's from Oklahoma.
Yeah, he was.
And Shelley
Duvall.
Shelley Duvall. You worked with Shelley Duvall in that movie?
I thought it was Shelley Long.
Oh, Shelley Long.
Shelley Long. I was like,
right.
is Shelley Duvall still alive? I don't even know.
She is, but
Shelley
I don't
Long.
think I think she's lost
Who
her
else?
mind.
Shelley
And then-
Long. Wow.
And then that guy, the other guy, Christian whatever, who had that big whatever series on USA or whatever.
Yeah,
Ooh.
The dark-haired
Something or
guy.
other. Yeah.
Christian something.
Oh,
See, I don't know actors and names.
is this the guy from Burn Notice or no, not him?
The Librarians.
The Librarians.
I think he was on
Oh.
the
I don't remember
Librarians.
what that show was.
I don't know.
I
Some
can
random show.
look it up.
IMDb.
Yeah.
How do you handle it when
Yeah.
mics go missing, or what do you do? How do you keep your cool?
I have
Hunt
I
them
have
down,
had-
and you say, "Give me my shit back."
I've had a very good run of not having much gear broken or
Okay, I'm not
disappeared.
gonna wood right
Knock on
now.
wood.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to curse you guys. Sorry.
I did have a lav go in the drink. We were shooting on a river and we did this scene and the guy was going to go in the river and we knew it, like go out, like fall out of the boat. This is a reality show. And so I'm like, okay, but when it gets time to jump out and fall out of the boat, we got to get the mic off before he goes in the water. So we did that. We took the mic off and he's this super backwoods dude. Trapping hogs is what the story was.
Nice.
Oh wow! Oh
And,
yikes!
yeah, so we're So anyway, he's like, we're taking this John boat with this huge metal hog pin, and the thing is gonna.
Uh-oh.
There's a bunch of people outside my house. Sorry.
It's not my kids, right? I'll mute myself now.
Sorry. So we're John boat, big crate. It's gonna go in the water when he takes this turn. We stop, get the mic off. Great. Do the scene. Gets back out of the water. We finish that part. He gets back out of the water. Gets back in the boat. We're like going again. I get him mic'd back up, and he's like, he decides to take another dunk. Like, dude, you just. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Man? You just killed that mic. Anyway, I ended up getting replacement money from the production. I bought a waterproof one, but which I hardly ever used. And so that's just one of the things. I mean, have insurance. You need to try to make sure you can get the certificate of insurance and stuff like that. But man, when it's your own gear, you got to worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was say that's a really good tip, Brian. Add that back into the original content.
Yeah. And we're back into the main episode.
By the way,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By the way, hey,
Well,
get insurance on your own stuff if you're using your stuff, and take a hit because it's going to happen.
Even if you have insurance and a piece of gear goes down and you're covered, you still have that time where you're not going to have that gear replaced. So that could bite you if you need it when you don't have it.
Yeah, which means you're possibly losing money because you can't do a particular job or something like that. And, that's a pain in the ass.
Okay, what do you do when someone's overly sweaty? I'm sorry, that's my last question.
Ooh,
when they just profusely sweaty, because okay, I remember, and I'm sure I've told Brian this, but they always put our mics for stage in condoms to stick close to your body, because then condoms will keep the moisture out from the mic while you're dancing around and moving around. That was a thing they did, and I didn't get it until makes sense, but
you want to use the dry ones.
You do not want the lubricated. Always dry with baby powder in them. Yeah.
I never really liked doing that, but I mean, I've had to do it a couple times, but I haven't really come across that a lot. But you can also use those on your boom. If it's going to be raining, you could do that too. Use the dry condom on your connection there. You could try that.
So I actually have a funny story about non-lubricated condoms, because that's what we use, is specifically non-lubricated condoms. And you cannot buy these things in singles or like in
they come in like mass bulk.
You have to buy bulk non-lubed condoms, which makes me, I just really want my house to get broken into so the guy can like and just see a shitload of non-lubed condoms.
Why are there 500?
It's like, this guy likes to get it on and in pain.
And he likes it to be dry.
Yeah. But I have a funny story. So I had been on a shoot the day before, and it was super hot, so I did have my mic packs and non-lubed condoms, and then I pulled it off, and then I put it in my back pocket. Well, the next day, I'm teaching a class in front of a high school, and I'm in the same pants, because I'm disgusting and I don't wash my pants.
Hobo, Brian.
Yeah. And the teacher raises his hand and he says, Mr. Goulding, you have something in your pocket. And I reach back and I pull out a freaking condom fully out. And I'm in front of all these high schoolers. And like, the funny thing is that my brain doesn't even see a condom anymore. My brain sees a piece of equipment. And I'm just nonchalantly like, oh yeah, well, this is what we used. And like holding a condom in front of a group of high schoolers, explaining that it's a very important piece of equipment.
Educational tip,
along with kids. Butt plugs. You gotta have your butt plugs for your wireless booms.
Gotta have your butt plugs and your non-lubricated condom.
Yeah. For the listeners, we call wireless transmitters for the booms butt plugs.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't have any of those.
Yeah, I prefer to be hardwired myself, but you can butt plug it up if you want.
You can. I don't think they sound as good wireless. We've tried, but you know all that stuff we got to put together to make it work.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of wireless. Anyway. Well, in just a second, we're going to talk to Kabe about some crazy on-set stories. And if you want to hear his on-set stories, go to patreon.com/Okie Show and become a patron today. Well, man, thank you so much for giving us your evening and swapping stories and advice and everything. Where can people find you online?
What do you mean online?
What?
What's your website /social?
Where's your house?
Yeah. No, I was a lot more social media present before this pandemic thing, and I kind of scaled everything back. I have my Facebook. I have like 30 friends on it. And I also have a Kabe Cornell Audio LLC Facebook page. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
I don't really, and that's connected to my Instagram, and so when I post on Instagram, it goes directly to that or my other one. But I don't know. I haven't really been doing it. That's lame. I'm lame.
I got off Facebook when I moved. I feel ya. I was like, pandemic. I'm moving. I'm out, and I just got off, and I've never looked back.
Yeah, I when I get real busy, I try to take Instagram photos. I try to take cool pictures and keep it positive and work related and interesting, and go to Instagram, and then that goes directly to Facebook, and that way there's some positivity, and it's just about the cool stuff I'm doing if I think it's cool. But that's about all the posting, and I haven't been working that much, so I haven't been doing that. Maybe next year will be better.
Hopefully next year is going to be
IMDb and Facebook. There's just nothing on there. It's just lame.
You're really bad at pitching yourself, Kabe.
I know. Well, it's like I've never gotten a job from Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never gotten a job from LinkedIn. I've never had anybody come from Instagram and go, "Oh wow, that's a great shot. Will you do sound for me?"
Yeah.
So if you want to write Kabe some snail mail, then send him some snail mail.
Yeah. What's your PO box number?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I'm easy to find. Kabe Cornell Audio,
Cornell.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, sound mixer. If you got my name there, you can probably find me.
Boom.
Awesome.
Well, there you go. Dude, this has been fun catching up with you and swapping stories and stuff.
For sure,
Thank you
man.
so much.
I've enjoyed it. Yes. I love it. It's
right.
good. It's a long time coming.
I'm saying we've been trying to do this for I think 3 or 4 years at this point.
It's been a long time.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
We did it. All right, man.
All right.
Appreciate you.
You bet. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
The Okie Show is a mostly harmless media podcast recorded at Tower Studios in Oklahoma City. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. If you're a business or industry professional that would like to advertise on the podcast, email info@okieshowshow.com. Rates starting as low as $25.